Be me 28 years old, just a regular guy named Leo. Work as a senior user experience designer at a mid-sized tech company. It is a pretty decent job. The pay is good, the work is challenging, and my coworkers are mostly cool. Our office is like 100 other tech offices. Open plan layout, beanbag chairs in the corner that nobody uses, and a fancy espresso machine that is always broken. We are a mixed bunch, men, women, different ages, different backgrounds. For the most part, everyone gets along. We debate about code, argue about design choices, and then go get beers after work. It is a functional, professional environment. Everything was normal until about a year ago. The company hired a new director of product innovation. Her name was Serena. Serena was in her late 30s, sharp, confident, and very, very ambitious. She came from a bigger, more progressive company on the West Coast. From her first day, she made it clear she was here to shake things up. In her introductory all-hands meeting, she talked a lot about disrupting paradigms and smashing ceilings. She used a lot of corporate buzzwords, but her core message was about female empowerment in the tech industry. Nobody had a problem with that. We all knew the industry had its issues. We were all for equality and a better workplace. But there was an intensity to her that was a little unsettling. It felt less like a professional goal and more like a personal crusade. Fast forward a few months. The company announces its biggest project of the year, a complete overhaul of our flagship software. It is a massive undertaking, the kind of project that can make or break careers. Everyone wants in. I am especially excited. I have been with the company for 5 years and my specific skill set is perfect for this. My boss, a straightforward guy named David, even told me to start prepping my portfolio because he was going to recommend me for the lead user experience role. Then the official announcement comes. Serena is heading the project. She has been given full authority to handpick her own team from across the company. A special meeting is called for everyone who expressed interest in the project. The conference room is packed. The energy is electric. Serena stands at the front of the room, radiating confidence. She gives a big speech about the project's potential, how it will redefine our company and the industry. Then she drops the bomb. I have been given a unique opportunity to build a team from the ground up, she says, her voice ringing with conviction. And I intend to use this opportunity to prove a point. A few people shift uncomfortably. This project, codenamed Odyssey, will be staffed, managed, and executed entirely by the talented women of this company. Silence. Just pure, dead, awkward silence. You could hear a pin drop on the industrial carpet. I look around the room, the women look stunned, the men look like they have just been slapped. I catch David's eye, he looks just as blindsided as I do. Serena continues, completely unfazed by the lack of applause. For too long, the tech world has operated under the assumption that the best work comes from male-led, male-dominated teams. We are going to build a new model, a collaborative, empathetic, and ego-free environment where women can thrive without the interruptions and aggressions of the typical workplace. Someone at the back, a male engineer named Ben, raises his hand. So just to be clear, he starts, his voice trembling a little, no men will be considered for this project at all, regardless of experience or qualifications. Serena gives him a smile that does not reach her eyes. That is correct. This is a chance to foster a different kind of energy. We appreciate your understanding and support from the sidelines. The meeting ends a few minutes later. The room empties out in a weird, somber procession. There is no excited chatter, just whispers and confused looks. The men kind of huddle together, not out of anger, but more out of sheer disbelief. Is this even allowed? Someone asks. I do not know, man, I guess so, another replies. I just feel deflated. It was not about feeling discriminated against, not really. It was about being sidelined for a reason that had nothing to do with my work, my skills, or my character. It just felt fundamentally unfair. My boss David pulls me aside later. He is furious, but he keeps his voice low. Leo, I am sorry, I had no idea. I pushed for you hard. This came from way above my head. Serena sold her vision to the chief executive officer and he signed off on it. It is what it is, David, I say, trying to sound professional. It is nonsense is what it is. We are a team. We build things together. This is not together, he was right. The next few weeks are strange. Serena starts assembling her dream team. She picks a project manager named Amelia, a sharp and organized woman I had worked with before and respected. She brings in a lead engineer named Catherine, who was known for being brilliant but also incredibly blunt and difficult to work with. A young, talented graphic designer named Isabella is chosen for the visual lead, and so on. About a dozen women are pulled from their regular duties and moved to a newly designated project area on the other side of the office. They call it the Odyssey Wing. The rest of us, the men and the women who were not chosen, are left to handle the company's legacy projects, which is corporate speak for boring, thankless maintenance work. Our workload actually decreases, but our morale plummets. It feels like we are the junior varsity team watching the varsity team practice for the championship. The Odyssey Wing in the beginning seems to be everything Serena promised. There is a lot of laughter. They have group lunches. They decorate their area with motivational posters featuring famous women. They post updates on the company's internal network with hashtags like #WomenInTech and #TheFutureRaceFemale. It looks like a paradise of productivity and empowerment. Some of my female friends who were not chosen feel a weird mix of jealousy and resentment. One of them, a data analyst named Chloe, tells me it feels like a high school clique. "You are either one of the cool girls or you are not," she says over coffee. And the cool girls do not talk to anyone else anymore. I try to keep my head down and just do my work. But it is hard to ignore the giant, ideological experiment happening 20 yards away from my desk. The first couple of months go by. The Odyssey team releases their initial project roadmap and some early design mock-ups. And honestly, they look good, really good. There is a sense in the rest of the office that maybe Serena was right. Maybe this all-female team really was going to create something amazing. A few of the guys I work with start to get a little bitter. "Just wait," one of them, a developer named Mark, would say. "It is all going to fall apart." I tell him to knock it off. "They are still our colleagues," I say. "We should want them to succeed. The company's success is our success." But secretly, a small, ugly part of me was waiting for a crack to appear. I am not proud of it, but it is the truth. The first crack appears about 3 months in. It is subtle. I am walking past the Odyssey Wing to get to the kitchen, and I hear raised voices. It is Catherine, the lead engineer, and Amelia, the project manager. "The timeline is the timeline, Catherine." "It is not a suggestion," Amelia says, her voice tight with frustration. "Then the timeline is stupid," Catherine shoots back. "It is not based in reality. Did you even consult with my team before you promised these features to Serena?" "I consulted with Serena. She sets the vision, we execute it. Serena does not write code, she writes motivational emails. I am telling you, it cannot be done this fast without cutting major corners." The conversation stops abruptly when they see me. They both glare at me like I am an intruder. I just mumble sorry and hurry to the kitchen. It is the first time I had witnessed anything but perfect harmony from their side of the office. A week later, I hear from Chloe that Isabella, the graphic designer, is having a tough time. "She is really talented," Chloe tells me, "but she has a very specific aesthetic." And a few of the other women, especially the marketing lead, a woman named Hannah, keep overriding her choices. They say her designs are not universally appealing. "What does that even mean?" I ask. "It means Hannah does not like them," Chloe says, rolling her eyes. "So now Isabella has to redo weeks of work, and Serena just told her to find a consensus." This is where the problems really start. Serena's management style was built on an idea. The idea that if you put a group of women in a room, they will naturally collaborate and find consensus. She refused to step in and make tough decisions or mediate disputes. She would just tell them to empower each other and work it out. But they were not working it out. They were just burying their disagreements under a thick layer of passive aggression. Emails with overly polite but clearly barbed language start flying. Just circling back on this. As per my previous email, just want to make sure we are all on the same page. It is a masterclass in corporate warfare, fought with smiles and pleasantries. Cliques start to form. There is Catherine's engineering team. They are pragmatic, overworked, and constantly stressed. They stick together and view the other departments as obstacles. Then there is Hannah's marketing and product team. They are more focused on the big picture, the vision, and they think the engineers are being negative and not embracing the collaborative spirit. Amelia, the project manager, is caught in the middle, trying to please everyone and pleasing no one. Serena remains above it all, locked in her office, seemingly oblivious to the growing toxicity. Or maybe she just did not want to see it. Her grand experiment could not fail, so in her mind it was not failing. The project starts to slip, first by a week, then by a month. The weekly progress reports become more and more vague, full of buzzwords but light on actual substance. Synergizing core competencies, pivoting towards a more holistic user experience. It is all nonsense. My team and I, the junior varsity squad, just keep our heads down and do our work. We ship a couple of small but important updates to the company's existing software. We get a quiet pat on the back from David. Meanwhile, all the company's resources and attention are still focused on Odyssey. The meltdown happens on a Tuesday. I will never forget it. They have a major milestone presentation scheduled for that afternoon with the entire executive team, including the chief executive officer. It is their big chance to show off the work they have done for the past 6 months. The pressure is immense. That morning, the tension in the Odyssey wing is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Nobody is talking. Everyone is just staring intently at their screens, their faces pale with stress. Around noon, I hear a scream. Not a loud, terrified scream, but a short, sharp shriek of pure frustration. It is followed by the sound of a keyboard being slammed against a desk. Everyone in the office freezes. We all look over towards the Odyssey wing. Catherine, the lead engineer, is standing up, her face bright red. I told you. I told all of you this would happen, she yells, her voice shaking with rage. She is pointing at Hannah, the marketing lead. You and your team insisted on pushing that new feature integration at the last minute. My team said it was not ready. It was unstable, but you went over my head to Serena and she approved it. Hannah stands up, her expression cold and dismissive. Do not try to pin your team's incompetence on me, Catherine. We needed a wow factor for the presentation. Your job is to deliver what the product team asks for. My job is to build a functional product, not a house of cards that collapses if you breathe on it too hard, Catherine retorts. The entire staging environment is down. The demo is completely broken because of you. That is a baseless and incredibly unprofessional accusation, Hannah says. You want to see unprofessional, Catherine screams, and she picks up her monitor and throws it on the floor. It shatters into a million pieces. The office goes completely silent. Women on the Odyssey team are openly crying. Isabella, the designer, just has her head in her hands, rocking back and forth. Amelia, the project manager, is trying to calm Catherine down, but Catherine shrugs her off. And then Serena finally emerges from her office. She looks at the scene of pure chaos. The shattered monitor, the crying employees, the two team leads ready to physically attack each other. She looks completely lost. Her perfect utopian experiment has imploded right in front of her. She opens her mouth to say something, but no words come out. Catherine just glares at her. This is on you, she says, her voice low and venomous. All of it. Then she grabs her bag, walks out of the Odyssey wing, and does not look back. She quit just like that. The aftermath is brutal. The presentation is obviously canceled. The chief executive officer comes down to our floor, and I had never seen him look so angry. He has a closed-door meeting with Serena for 2 hours. We can hear him yelling all the way from our desks. The next day, an email goes out to the whole company. Project Odyssey is being restructured. Serena is being reassigned to a new role with no direct reports. It is the most gentle, corporate way of saying she was demoted and sidelined. A new project lead is appointed. My old boss, David, his first move is to hold a meeting with the remaining members of the Odyssey team. Most of them look broken, ashamed, exhausted, and defeated. His second move is to walk over to my desk, along with Ben the engineer and Mark the developer. "All right, guys," David says, his expression grim but determined. "The junior varsity team is being called up to the big leagues. We have a mess to clean up, a huge mess." And just like that, we are on the project. Project Odyssey is dead. Long live Project Phoenix, as David renames it. The first week is the most awkward experience of my entire professional life. We are merged into a new team with the women who survived the purge. Amelia is still the project manager, but she seems to have lost all her confidence. Hannah, the marketing lead, is still there, but she is sullen and defensive. The remaining engineers and designers barely make eye contact with us. There is this huge, unspoken tension in the air. They think we are gloating. They think we are here to say, "I told you so." And maybe some of the guys feel that way, but I do not. I just see a group of talented people who have been through a horribly toxic experience. David is smart. He does not try to force any fake team-building exercises. His message is simple. "We are one team now. We have a job to do. Let's focus on the work. No drama, no politics. Just work." I am assigned to work directly with Isabella, the designer whose work had been constantly criticized. The first time we sit down together, she is incredibly nervous. She shows me her original designs, the ones that were rejected. They are brilliant, clean, intuitive, and beautiful. "Why did you not use these?" I ask, genuinely confused. She looks down at her hands. Hannah said they were not welcoming enough. She wanted more stock photos of smiling people. I can feel the frustration radiating off her. "These are 1,000 times better," I tell her. "Let's start with these, you and I. We will build the prototype from this." She looks up at me, a tiny spark of hope in her eyes. "Really?" "Absolutely. My job is to make your design functional, and this is a great design." It is a small moment, but it feels like a turning point. Slowly, very slowly, the walls start to come down. Ben, our best back-end engineer, sits down with the remaining female engineers. He does not criticize their old code. He just asks, "Okay, what were the biggest roadblocks you were facing?" They talk for hours. They discover that they were all struggling with the same problems, but their old leadership had pitted them against each other instead of letting them collaborate. Mark, who had been the most bitter about the whole thing, ends up working closely with Hannah. And he discovers that underneath her abrasive exterior, she is actually very smart about market strategy. Her problem was that Serena had given her authority without accountability, and it went to her head. David keeps everyone focused. He sets realistic goals. He listens to everyone's input, regardless of their gender. He mediates disagreements with a simple question: what is best for the product? It is not about who is right, it is about what is right. We work hard, we work late nights, but there is no screaming, no crying. No passive-aggressive emails. If there is a problem, we talk about it, openly and honestly. Like professionals, like adults. 3 months later, we have a new presentation for the executive team. The demo works perfectly. Isabella's designs are the star of the show. The engineering is solid. The marketing plan is clear and concise. We knock it out of the park. After the presentation, the chief executive officer keeps us all in the room. He looks at our new mixed-gender team. "I want to apologize," he says, and he looks genuinely remorseful. "I approved an experiment that was flawed from its conception. I was sold on an ideology and I lost sight of what actually makes a team work. It is not about gender. It is about respect, talent, and a shared goal. You have all demonstrated that. You saved this project. Thank you, coming from him, that means a lot. We all walk out of that conference room feeling 10 feet tall. We are not men and women, we are just a team, a really good one. That Friday, we all go out for drinks to celebrate. The whole Project Phoenix team, I end up sitting at a table with Amelia. She seems like a different person, relaxed, happy, and confident again. I owe you guys an apology, she says, swirling the ice in her glass. You do not owe us anything, I say. No, I do, she insists. I was so caught up in Serena's vision. I wanted to believe in it so badly. I thought we were building something special, but we were just building a bubble. And in that bubble, all the normal rules of professional conduct went out the window. It became personal. It became toxic. I was a terrible project manager. You were in an impossible situation, I tell her. Your boss did not let you manage, she nods, a sad smile on her face. She told us that conflict was a male trait, that women would naturally find harmony. So every time we had a disagreement, we felt like we were failing as women, not just as colleagues. We did not know how to have a healthy argument, it all just festered. I think about that for a moment, about how a well-intentioned idea, when taken to an extreme, can become so twisted and destructive. Well, I say, raising my glass, to healthy arguments. She smiles, a real smile this time, and clinks her glass against mine. To healthy arguments. The project was eventually a huge success. It boosted the company's profits and won a couple of industry awards. Our team, the Phoenix team, became the model for how projects were run in the company. Small, diverse, and focused on merit. Serena quietly left the company about 6 months later. I never saw her again. I learned a lot from that whole experience. I learned that a good idea can become a bad one if it is built on exclusion. I learned that competence and character have absolutely nothing to do with what is between your legs. I have worked with brilliant women and incompetent men. I have worked with lazy women and hardworking men. People are just people. You judge them on their actions, not their identity group. The whole thing did not make me bitter. It just made me appreciate the simple, boring, and beautiful reality of a functional workplace. A place where everyone gets a fair shot, where the best ideas win, and where people treat each other with basic human respect. It turns out that is the most empowering environment of all.